It was raining hard in Frisco. I needed one more fare to make my night. A lady up ahead waved to flag me down. She got in at the light. Oh, where you going to, my lady blue? It's a shame you ruined your gown in the rain. She just looked out the window. She said 16 Parkside Lane. Something about her was familiar. I could swear I've seen her face before. But she said, I'm sure you're mistaken. And she didn't say anything more. It took a while, but she looked in the mirror. Then she glanced at the license for my name. A smile seemed to come to her slowly. It was a sad smile just the same. And she said, how are you, Harry? I said, how are you, Sue? Through the too many miles and the too little smiles, I still remember you. It was somewhere in a fairy tale. I used to take her home in my car. We learned about love in the back of a Dodge. The lesson hadn't gone too far. You see, she was gonna be an actress, and I was gonna learn to fly. She took off to find the footlights. I took off to find the sky. Whoa, I've got something inside me to drive the princess blind. There's a wild man wizard, he's hiding in me, illuminating my mind. Oh, I've got something inside me, not what my life's about. 'Cause I've been letting my outside tide me over till my time runs out. There was not much more for us to talk about. Whatever we had once was gone. So I turned my cab into the driveway, past the gate and the fine trim lawns. And she said, we must get together, but I knew it'd never be arranged. Then she handed me $20 for a $2.50 fare. She said, Harry, keep the change. Well, another man might have been angry, and another man might have been hurt, but another man never would let her go. and she walked away in silence. It's strange how you never know, but we'd both gotten what we'd asked for such a long, long time ago. You see, she was gonna be an actress, and I was gonna learn to fly. She took off to find the footlights, I took off for the sky. And here she's acting happy inside her handsome home, and me, I'm flying in my taxi, taking tips and getting stoned. I go flying so high when I'm stoned.
Good morning. Little Harry Chapin. Love that guy. Died much too young. And we got a little bit of selling going on here this morning. A little bit. And hope you had a great Labor Day weekend. And we certainly did. I don't want to wish the summer away on anyone, but we're kind of glad to see it go. It's our off season. Pretty hot, still hot. And let's take a peek at things and let's highlight this. And we decided to punch up early because this is some really, really nice action, and it could accelerate, really could. And I hope it's not catching you by surprise. It isn't catching us by surprise, that's for sure. Let's mark up some stuff, and let's go first to swing machine. So we go to the 5-minute VIX, and what do we got? 9 a.m. 9 a.m. the VIX 5-minute pops up. She's up 7% and she's climbing. So something's up. Now, if you guys are monitoring the news and CNBC and Zero Hedge and all that, I'm sure there's some producer out there attaching a story to it. Probably a Fed governor saying this or that or that or this. I really, if you want to let me know, feel free, but I don't have the time to look or listen and even bother with it. We're too busy just trading what's in front of us. So let's take a look now. The ES broke much earlier. Let's take a look at the ES on a 5-minute. We'll stay with the 5-minute. You could be trading the 1, but let's stay with the 5. It's a little bit slower. The 5-minute went short at 435. 435 this morning. What's all that about? Now, the hedge funds open at 4 a.m. I don't know if you know that or not. And the plunge protection team for the U.S. Treasury also opens at 4 a.m. So they probably get in, got a, big plate of Krispy Kremes and, got their coffee and then started making some phone calls and said, hey, Joe Blow from the Fed. Now, I'm guessing. I haven't seen any headline. Joe Blow from the Fed's gonna, come on CNBC and put a fart on the market, something, I mean, they love to mess with the markets, right? And we'll see. They're going to be out later in another couple of weeks, and that's going to be the big speculation. Are they cutting 25 or 50 basis points or 100? I mean, the reality is they should be cutting 150, but the market would really panic. And they're going to have a real problem if the market panics anyways. But we're not going to get caught up here into that. That is for other podcasts. We're traders, and we're going to just trade what's in front of us. And check this out. This is the NQ at 5 minutes of 9. So if you waited to 9 o'clock because of margin requirements and you only wanted to use basically $2,000, congratulations, you're up 5,000. So you got about a 200% return in about an hour and a half. And how long are you going to wait for Bitcoin to double? I don't know. We won't go there. We won't pick on the Bitcoin crypto community. I get it. Oops. Ted, what are you doing over there? And we look at the Dow. The Dow also went off at 4:25 in the morning, so that's kind of interesting, huh? And then the Russell. Everybody was so bullish. The small caps. Remember, oh, we got to get everybody into the small caps. Not so fast. That's a 2.5% haircut. Also, an appetite for risk. The small caps don't like a recession. They don't like it. Nope. Gold doesn't like a strong dollar, and the dollar is probably getting stronger. We said don't short the dollar down here. And then oil. That's it. Gasoline has really, really been down. Americans have really hunkered down. They didn't travel that much. They didn't rent, the Airbnbs. The summer's over, and they're pulling in. They are pulling in. We see it anecdotally. I don't know if you see it in your neighborhoods, but we see it. There are certain anecdotal markers, and it isn't going to matter. They cut, 50 basis points. I will say this is that if you are in the market for a car, or you are in the market, you didn't refi, back years ago, if you didn't do that, you're going to see lower interest rates over the next 6 months. So if you have cash and you want to finance it a little bit, or you want to refi, you're going to get an opportunity to do just that. You absolutely are. Now, Swing Machine is doing this little ditty here for us, right? And we can go in and mark up gold here. This is at 615. There's no real correlation here other than maybe with the dollar, and then oil. So just check out this amount of money. And now this is, of course, Bitcoin. This is a huge contract. We could put it on a 5-minute. We'll leave it on a daily. Again, not to miss the opportunity. If there are folks out there that have a stack of Bitcoins, they got them stacked up down in their basement in the corner someplace, they got them in a vault, and they don't want to sell them. I get it, and they're hoping every day that's going to go up. And I got a neighbor he's flying a Bitcoin flag in front of his house. I think the HOA made him take it down, but he did have it up there because he's a big Bitcoin guy. And but when Bitcoin pulls in like 8 or 9% in 3 weeks, rather than see the value of your Bitcoins go down by $30,000, there's 5 of them here, you could have come into the futures market and shorted against your stack. And you'd still have your stack, but you'd also still have about, $25,000 or $30,000 in value still in your basement. And I'm joking, of course. Bitcoin is it isn't tangible. I like things that I can touch. I like things that are real. I'm not so sure that I like, the ether, but that's okay. Just do things in proportion. But this is a beautiful thing. Now, what's going on over here? Remember last week we ran Swing Machine Cubed, SMC Swing Machine Cubed, and we ran it the 5-minute in the direction of the 30-minute. That's what it was doing. It was doing it automatically, and it posted about $5,000 in profits. And we thought comfortably we should have done 10 to 15 if we had intervened. We didn't. So we decided to do it again. And you can see, now we turned it on Sunday night at 6 p.m. and it was up about $500 last night. And then overnight it took some losses, and you can see it had losses of 13, 18. And this is what has to be learned and pointed out over and over again during Q School. How you have to psychologically be prepared to make the transition from mechanical trading to robotic trading. But we just stayed with it. We had a little drawdown. It was no big deal. It's no big deal. It was only $1,300. We're fine, well away from our margin levels, and now we're to the good. If I was to close this trade right here, right now, we've been in the market since Sunday at 6 p.m. and we got another $5,000 in our pocket. That'll work, but I'm going to let it run. I'm going to let it run. Now I might choose to, capture some money and then wait for the next, the next bus. This is really pretty what I wanted you to see, this is pretty nasty action here as we roll into September. So if you're thinking that this is going to turn around today, it might, it might. And if it does, we're going to see it and we're going to profit, because I don't mean to aggravate anybody, but we make money when markets go down. We make money when markets go up. We don't get the very bottom. We don't get the very high. We're playing for the middle, and we're extracting these things for the moment that they call dollars. I don't know if that's what they're going to call them 4 years from now. I don't know, but that's what we're doing. Let's look at the calendar. I want to just share a couple of things with you, and I can answer some questions. Let's just click on the calendar. So here's September 3rd. Now, we thought that this turn down could occur around the 5th, so I think this could accelerate. On the 13th, which is next Friday, the September contracts are going to start to roll over, and they're going to start trading the December contracts. What could happen when you get everybody on one side of the ferry? Ooh, Teddy, you swept the girl down. Easy, easy, Ted. He threw Abby down on the towel. She's okay. She bounced back. She's a poor girl. She's in heat. She's wearing. We got to get a picture. Susan's got these little bikini pants on her, so he can't score. But they're just wrestling. On the 13th, they're going to start trading the December contracts. And what you could see is a jailbreak. It can happen on either side. When everyone's on one side, which I would presume to think going into this roll, everyone is long. Everybody's long, right? Nobody wanted to get short except us. If the pros can roll, and it's kind of a transparent event, but if they don't roll, that is, they say, something, let's just capture our profit, and let September be September, and we'll regroup, in late October and have a Santa Claus type thing. Then if they just decide to take their money off the table and they don't roll and they don't buy the December contracts, and same thing in the options market, then these markets could get whacked. The other thing that could be at play, I'm not, this is just noise, but you'll start to read and hear it and see it, is, well, what is the Fed going to do? And I think the Fed meeting is around the 18th. The contracts will be dead on the 20th. The Fed will be meeting here. And I think it's safe to say the Fed is going to cut 25. But if the market throws a hissy fit, do they cut 50? Do they cut 100? They really should cut 150. And then, but even if they do that, what could be the reaction to the market? The market may not like what it's smelling. It may not like what it's cooking, because it really does reek of recession. We think we're in recession now. And it could just be, that the Fed has been rendered impotent. That wouldn't be a good thing for the Fed. Maybe a good thing for us as traders. And of course, we got a couple of folks that, trying to get themselves elected. So September has a lot going on. We have economic numbers rolling out this week, and they'll be reading the tea leaves there if they can get some indication. But the biggest thing overhanging September is that the moneyed people, the hedge funds, their fiscal year ends end of September, around October 15th or so. And so they really want to lock in profits, and it happens all the time. So we're not going to get too caught up on it, but I did want to point out some of the dates to you. Let's go look at the interest rate. Bear with me. We'll go look at the interest rates and what's happening. Look at the interest rates. This is the 30-year Treasury. It sounds 72 basis points. That's a big move, folks. That's a big move. Look at the 10-year, down 74 basis points. The 5-year, 74 basis points. And look at the 90-day paper, just stuck there, because that's the one the Fed controls. So they come in and they cut 25 basis points. 50 basis points, who cares? It's still going to be fully inverted, and they're way behind. Money is flowing for safety again. I want to show you something else. Skew. Our members saw this last night. See the skew is at 159. The highest reading on the skew that I have ever seen was 161. Where was that? Right here, right up here. We didn't get there. We're probably not going to get there. How does the skew rise like that on the S&P? Well, last week on Thursday and Friday, the big money were really, really spooked by something, and they started selling calls like crazy to the speculators and buying puts. And that's generated the skew. We also have a gap here. So could we do this 1, 2, 3 days and take 10% off of this market in 3 days? Yeah, we could. We absolutely could do it. Do I know we're going to do it? No, I don't. We got a gap here. But it's going to be a very interesting day. And we're going to let you watch a little bit. And we're going to maneuver. Also, let me bring this up. Here is a Renko chart. This is on the S&P. We've been jammed up in here. You can't see everything because of these markers here we drew in. But this has the shape of what we call a bearish Gartley pattern. It's a very, very it's a vicious, and it's a huge one. It's a huge Gartley. I'm not going to map it out, but it is. And it's a very, very bearish pattern. And it develops over time. It's psychologically very, very debilitating. And when it goes and when it gets confirmed, and the way that this will get confirmed is when this will gets taken out down here, if it gets taken out. We just cannot go above that high of 57.10. We don't want to go above that. And now the Gartley is in play. We want to see it come down and take this out. Could take us a few days, could take us a week or two. And this pattern could potentially mark a long-term high in this market. I'm talking long-term. We may not see these levels again for some time if it plays out that way. Now, we don't, oh, what did I just do? Oh, that's our other intraday. Bear with me, I goofed. Let's see here. Let's, I goofed here. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I got it. There we go. I had it, didn't have the right orientation. I thought it was on the wrong workspace. So if you have any questions, now as traders or as a potential trader, I don't know if you're a trader or not, you've got to get an education, and then you need to begin to identify what type of trader you're going to be with what amount of money. What do I mean by that? I mean, you might be an intraday trader with a certain block of money. You might be a swing trader with another block of money. You might be an investor with another block of money. And what percentages of your portfolio do you want to dedicate to what is really going to be up to you. So, whenever you're listening to someone, and that's not what we're here to do, right? We're not trying to get on here and convince you that, the market is going here and the market's going there, and then you can throw some trade and throw some money at it. That isn't us. That's what everyone else is doing. We're not doing that. What we're trying to do is to show you what we're up to, what we're looking at, and how we go about it. But you really got to give thought to what you're trying to achieve, and therefore you got to be very, very careful if you're doing that online and going from one person to another, because you don't know what interval, what time frame they're talking about, right? I mean, I can be very, very bearish the 5-minute ES right here right now, and our members can be making very good money. because one mini contract, they're up 3,800. This one here, is this not nuts? At 9 a.m., it would have cost you $2,000 to put this trade on, and you're up basically $7,000. How much is that? 300%? What? Are you shitting me, Don? No, I'm not. Now, if you did it with a micro, you're only up $600, but you only put up like 200. So you are up 300%. Now, if you did it with 10 minis, you're up 65,000. So, take the rest of the week off. Go, you can go buy yourself a Tesla. Kidding, joking. We don't equate the money to what we're going to do with it either. We don't do that. Not a good idea. Money has too much meaning. Probably for Americans, probably best not to be so money centric. Just execute. Develop a plan and execute, and you'll be just fine in life, and the money will flow to you. It will, but it's all scalable. Now, if you want to trade on an hourly basis, we can change it. If you want to trade on a half-day basis, we can change it. You want to trade on a daily, we can do that too. You could do it if it's sitting on your computer. This is just one program, right? So this swing machine, or this program up here, is trading the 5-minute in the direction of the 30, which we don't have set up here. And it's doing it automatically. And we haven't intervened at all. I think maybe one, I don't even think we have. So what would you do? Would you turn it off? You could. You got to go find something else to do the rest of the part of the day. Susan wants those hedges and stuff cut. So I'm like, you know what? I think I'd rather be here right now. It's like 120 degrees out there. But you'd have to go find some. The biggest challenge I think you're going to have trading mechanically and robotically is finding something else to do and shed those habits of sitting there all day, every day, just, looking at candles, moving averages and stochastics and MACDs. Those stochastics are really overdone right now, right? Okay. They may stay overdone. They can get you in trouble, big trouble. MACDs, same thing. Any questions, let us know. The program for Swing Machine, I don't know if you know this or not, but it is written, we didn't know this when we did it, in a circle. Did you know that? Let me see if I can draw it out here. When we settled on Swing Machine, on how we were going to do this, it took us months and months of training to organize this. Susan wrote the mathematical code. She's looking at packets of price information, and it's very creative, very ingenious, and it took us months to vet it and to put it together and to perfect it over time. And we haven't changed it or even amended it in a long time. That's Abby. But we had members helping us improve. Logan, we didn't always have the P&L here, if you can believe it. We didn't have it in here. And Logan said to us, Don, he goes, it's really, really good. I would like to see the P&L though. I'm like, okay. So we thought that was a really good idea. But the code, which is over 800 lines, is written in a circular fashion. Now we now know, we didn't know at that time when we wrote the mathematical formula, Susan wrote it, and then we started to program it. We didn't know that programming, and if you're a programmer, I guess you would know this, but we're not officially professionally trained programmers. We've learned, listen to that dog. Oh my God, she's so happy. Listen to her. That's just squeaking that toy. She's trying to get Ted's fancy. Poor thing. She is just, And this will go on all day. Of course, it's very intense here these few weeks, but we don't want puppies. We're gonna get her. We are gonna get her fixed. We decided to take it through one cycle. They say sometimes good for hormones, their bone structure and stuff, and then get them fixed. Probably both of them, or at least her. But the code is about 800 lines, and I guess what I was saying is the software. Many times, software routines are written in a circular fashion, and we didn't know that going in. It probably would have made it easier, but it was the only way that we could actually do it. Which reminds me of
All my life's a circle, sunrise and sundown. The moon rolls through the nighttime till the daybreak comes around. All my life's a circle, but I can't tell you why. The season's spinning round again, the years keep rolling by. It seems like I've been here before, I can't remember when, but I got this funny feeling that I'll be back once again. There's no straight lines make up my life, and all my roads have bends. There's no clear-cut beginnings, and so far, no dead ends. I've found you 1,000 times, I guess you've done the same. But then we lose each other, it's just like a children's game. But as I see you here again, the thought runs through my mind. Our love is like a circle, let's go round one more time. All my life's a circle, sunrise and sundown. The moon rolls through the nighttime till the daybreak comes around. All my life's a circle, but I can't tell you why. The season's spinning round again, the years keep rolling by. All my life's a circle, sunrise and sundown. The moon goes through the night time till the daybreak comes around. All my life's a circle, but I can't tell you why. The season's spinning round again, the years keep rolling by.
If you have any questions on what it is you're seeing, I'll leave you alone. But let's we take the VIX as a signal. We will buy the VIX. We almost never short it, but we will buy it on occasion. We didn't today. But just add up the money as an example. It's 3,300. Can we call that 9,000, 10,000, 11,000, 13,000, 15,000? That's a daily. $15,000 in available profits. Your job as a trader if you have this tool and other tools on your desktop, is simple. Turn off the noise, clear your head, get the fish to the boat and get them on a stringer and get on out of here and go do something else with your day and come back tomorrow and do it again and again and again. Try to end your week early and get out of here. Time in the market is a risk factor. Options market have that figured out, don't they? When you're buying options, trading options, you got to deal with time, theta. You got to deal with implied volatility. Got to deal with all that. Now, many people are not familiar with the fact that, the machine can literally be putting trades in and out, right? So if you have carpal tunnel from your hand, form fitted to the mouse, and you're grinding on every trade, where do I buy? Where do I sell? Where do I put the stop? Where do I, where? And you're grinding on every trade, and you're trying to interpret this and that and that and this on every single one, and it's always different. Your trading isn't going to be consistent. It's going to struggle, and you've got to develop a consistency. That is what we work on, during the Q school, to show you what steps you can take mechanically to do that. Now, if you're interested in getting a view of these algos at night, a monthly membership to Stock Market Caddy will get you that video. It's $100 a month to month. Check it out. See how you like it. Don't like it. It's very, very good. We think we have a very high retention of monthly members. If you're interested in getting these tools on your desktop, so that you can plug in what you want to plug in. By the way, if you want us to plug in any market, let us know. We're happy to do that and show you what it's doing right here, right now. If you even want the interval, happy to do it. But this isn't the only, this is our flagship product, but it isn't our only product. There are now close to 70. But you would need to be an annual member. But before you do that, you need to go through what we call a Q school. And we have folks in them now and about to start at all stages. So don't hesitate to reserve your spot. More valuable than any individual tool that we've built is going to be the education on how to use them. How do you use the nightly feed relative to futures trading? Well, the nightly feed, we slow it all down, right? So we're not looking at 1, 3, 5 minute. So we're looking at the hourly, the 240, the daily intervals, and even if you don't trade futures, if you get in the habit of tracking futures, a lot of times you can get, a 1 or 2 day jump on the ETFs, the exchange traded funds. And if you can get a jump on the ETFs, you can get a jump on the market. So give you a, for instance, let's just slide over what our members were seeing last night, which really, really jumped out at us was the skew at 159. The highest skew reading that we have seen is 161. And where did that happen? Right up here. And we got a skew reading of 159. What is skew? How does it relate to the S&P? That's other things that we delve into. But when you get a high skew reading combined with a low VIX, with a risk on VIX, it can make for an explosive move. But we also look at stock. And let's just go and look at here is the Pebble Beach triggers for today, but the bear with me. Here's the options club selector, and you can see, well, you can't really, let me see if I can sort them the other way. See the little phantom vignettes? See, they were in euphoria and we were getting, bearish suggestions. They've already come in. They're no longer there. The prices have moved down. So they're probably all profitable. And we had very little, we only had a couple of long opportunities. Got a few more here today. Let's go look at the Pebble Beach radar. Let's just go look. Bear with me. I'll slide across. We got, dozens of these. Here's the Pebble. So all of these signals are today. So take out row number 1 for the label, and then let's count them. All these signals are today. So they're at 43, they're 42. And let me lose these things. Are these things distracting to you? Let me lose them for a minute. I can put them back. So out of 42 signals, they're long and shorts. We're profitable in all but one. Oops. And they're happening real time. Now that amount of money, Nvidia is down $8. That's today. And it went short at 117.22. Now I don't know if it, let's just click on it. Did it gap down? It opened at 116. The machine wanted it short at 117, so you wouldn't have got quite that price. But this purse is being calculated on a $10,000 trade, so that's 5%, 4%, 3%. But if you used options, I mean, but this is we used this tool for stock before Swing Machine. And you get to see these signals every night too, and they're very good. They're usually the start of something big. So here's Netflix. Yeah, that's bearish as hell. That's bearish. Netflix is going down. So we're going to go back and so our program, we're running the same program that we ran last week, which is running the 5 and 30-minute. You don't see it here. And that's what it's done. So we're up since Sunday night. We had a little drawdown of 1,300. We're up 6,000. So we're net up $4,000, $4,600, $4,700 since Sunday night, trading one NQ, one market. And I haven't put on one trade. I mean, that is, I haven't physically, manually touched the mouse. I haven't looked at a chart, specifically to trade that. I mean, there's really nothing to look at. It's all mathematical. It just is. But you've got to develop over time your confidence, because what are you going to do when it draws down 1,300 if you don't have any experience? Then you won't have any confidence, right? Your confidence comes from successful experience, not winning every single trade. We don't win on every single trade. That's where, where the confidence will come from, is knowing that we can have losers and then come back and then hold ground and hold higher ground. Any questions, let us know. We punched up early. It's 11:30, so we'll probably only go to about 12:30, and then we'll have to shut down on YouTube. But be sure to visit the site, and any questions, let us know. These trades here, I'll put those markers back. There's the VIX. The VIX went long, and is creeping up at 9 a.m. The ES actually went short at 4:35. The Treasury War Room opens at 4 a.m. and with the hedge funds. The NQ went short at 8:55. If you waited till 9, because you only wanted to use, $2,000 in margin, basically 1,950. If you use $2,000 at 9 o'clock and you're up 6,000, you're up 300% in a couple of hours. And yet there are millions of people waiting, to get a 2-bagger or a 3-bagger on Bitcoin that could go to, 10,000. Who knows? It could. I know people don't want to hear that, but so I don't get it. But the Dow 425, put that in there, 1840, and then the Russell. Gold doesn't like a stronger dollar. Oil, recession, maybe. That's the rational side of our brains trying to explain it. So I'm not going to try. It doesn't matter. I don't want my head full of anything. So we're up $5,000 since Sunday. I could shut off and just call it. We're a little bit early. And so I'm going to stay with this, but our trading for the week might be done this afternoon. That's cheating done. It is. They won't let you do that in Atlantic City or Las Vegas. Try it. They don't let you reach into the roulette wheel and stop the spin. They don't let you leave early. They want you staying there. They set the terms, the rules of the game, the odds, the payouts. That's why it's a game of chance. This isn't a game of chance. We're not gambling. I'm not a gambler. I don't drink alcohol. I'm not a stiff, but I like to enjoy life. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke weed. Although I guess Florida's gonna, pass it. I'm not sure that's a good idea, but whatever. Um, and try to stay healthy. And I don't gamble, but yet I do this. It's not gambling. It isn't. All the conventional wisdom. Think back. Think I was watching a podcast. It was an interesting podcast. Tucker Carlson was interviewing a guy. If you get to see it, he's a historical nut. And when I say it, he's kind of a self-taught maybe historian, and they were talking about some of the things in history, that we've all been led to believe. Even the other guy, I think it's not Brett Weinstein, Eric, I think it's Eric Weinstein, the physicist too. He was talking about that too. He was in an interview. I think the two brothers. Brett Weinstein is a college professor from Evergreen, and then I think it's Eric, and he's a physicist, but he's also a money guy. He's real big friends with Thiel. I think it's what Peter Thiel, who founded PayPal with Musk and stuff. And and they were just talking about kind of the same thing. All these memes, historical memes that we've been led to believe that have passed on from one generation to another generation to another generation. And he actually says it about, he goes, all these people that go to work, they get great educations and they go to work for these banks or the brokerages, and they start all talking about can't time the market, can't time the market, can't time the market. Yet there are people timing the market every day. But it just, this stuff gets ingrained in the culture. And it is what it is. I guess it's a good thing. I don't know if I'd want everybody doing what we're doing. It'd probably be a lot more difficult. The likelihood that everyone's going to be doing this is slim and none, because everybody wants something for free. I see where Biden now is going to try to forgive all the college loans. I mean, if you have a college loan, good luck to you. I hope you get it, I guess. If you were one who paid off your college loans, I guess you got suckered. I don't know what value some of these degrees have, if any. I went to a small university. It was a state college. It's now a university in Western Massachusetts. A joke. It was a place to mature, but I mean, I didn't go into debt to get the degree. I thought the programs were kind of a joke when I was there. I had a better education in parochial grammar school than I did with some of their classes. But I look at some of the majors, and I mean, it's absurd, absurd. Some of the curriculum. I don't know. I don't know. Susan and I, we've been very fortunate. We don't have children. I always think about if we did, if I had them at college age, I guess they wouldn't be, necessarily now. I'd be through it, but I don't know. I don't know if I'd have them doing that. Putting themselves in up to honk. So to be holding to someone like Biden to have to write it off, or to have to carry that debt the rest of their lives for some bullshit degree. I think college has its purpose for some, maybe, just a maturation process or place to mature, but, to be paying what they're paying now, absurd. You know, if anybody sees my tweets, I say it over and over again. You know, Harris, and I have a lot of family in Massachusetts, and there's another one up there, the Governor Healy of Massachusetts, and they want to price fix grocery stores and groceries. I mean, those people operate on such small margins. Those farmers have to pay all the costs and everything. But one thing is that why don't they just price fix, the college education? Why not just price fix it? Why don't we do that? Why just it's $10,000 a year, every school, and room and board. And you know what? We'll throw in a 1 week spring break vacation anywhere in Florida or in the Caribbean. How about that? $10,000. And let the Marxist professors and their deans let them get a taste of their own cooking. Why don't we do that? I think that would have a bigger impact. Be very productive. I mean, why are these kids having to pay, 50, 60, $80,000 for bullshit degrees? And some of them have, big names, or you would think big names of a degree. I don't want to specify any degrees because I don't want to offend anybody, but I don't think they are what they used to be. You know, even some of the more, the so-called, science degrees. I'm not so sure. It's a way, all this stuff is laced into everything, but they do it. Mm. They should also give you the option of investing your own Social Security. Yeah, I mean, um, I would have opted out. That let us opt out the damn thing. You know, but they won't. Well, mm, the other thing is, for people, young people may not know this, but they pay when they go to work for a company, they're paying a Social Security tax of 7.5%. But the companies are paying another 7.5%, right? Matching. I mean, that 7.5% could be going to you. That's one way to look at it. The other thing is you leave your company and you're going to go start a business. You're going to pay 15% into Social Security. Why didn't we, on that? And it's an interesting. Why didn't they do that in '08 when the markets got crushed? Right? They had the big meeting up in Chicago with Oprah Winfrey and Spielberg and the rest of them. They called them all in. They were all panicked. All the money class. There was a big meeting in Chicago, and representatives of the Federal Reserve went there and met with them and told them, "Hey, look, don't puke out your shares of stock. Don't sweat it. We're going to launch QE. We're going to monetize the debt. We're going to go to the moon." Well, why didn't we take, the Social Security lockbox and put it into the market then? Because it doesn't exist. Well, you can own shares of all the major financials and of all the major transportation, and you can be a stakeholder in the company or into the economy, but that's not promoted, really. That isn't promoted to be a stakeholder. It's a nanny state. It's been a nanny state. It's becoming a bigger nanny state. Here's one for you though, too. And I'm coming from Massachusetts, right? So it was a big, Democratic stronghold, right? I'm not a, big Kennedy fan, although I like, I like what Robert F. Kennedy is doing in some regard. Of course, he's been, vilified. But what percent of the Democratic Party today earn it's over $100,000? I think if I have the numbers right. What percent would you think? 70%. 70% of the Democratic Party earn over 100,000. What percent of the Republican Party earn over 100,000? 30%. Just the opposite of what you would think. The intelligentsia, the intellectuals, it's absurd. Trade prediction. My understanding is zero of this. Trade prediction. Well, that's excellent. That's actually really, really good. The first step in learning is, let's go here. I love this. That's why we do this trade prediction. Let me clear this for a minute. Do you know the 4 steps of learning? See if I can remember this stuff off the top of my head. One, unconsciously incompetent. Now, don't anybody get offended. We're all unconsciously incompetent in different things. So don't take offense. It's okay. Unconsciously incompetent. What is that? You do not know what you do not know what you do not know. You just have no idea. And maybe I should make that a little smaller type. You do not know what you do not know. And that's okay. It is absolutely okay to be unconsciously incompetent at something. And I'll use it as I've done before. And I love my sister. I have a sister who is what did I just do? Well, we'll put them back in. She is a quilter, really, really good quilter. And she teaches it and she does it a lot and she's really, really good. I don't know anything about quilting. I am unconsciously incompetent. I have no idea how she does it. The other part is I have no interest in quilting either, though. So therefore, I'm not going to probably ever be a quilter because I just have no interest. I'm unconsciously incompetent at quilting and I'm just never going to do it. But if I did have an interest, consciously incompetent is the next stage. And this stage, I got these right, memory here, is when you become aware of something that you did not know. You say, son of a bitch, the person's really, really good at quilting. Man, and I'd really like to learn how to do that. It's this is the very first beginning stages of learning something. And what do? You set out to become consciously competent at it. And how do you do that? Well, you can read, you can go online, but you can also get a mentor. If you really want to expedite and save some time, I'm going to go to my sister and say, hey, can you mentor me? so that I can become a better quilter, and I want to become competent. And then the last stage of learning is where she is now. And she is unconsciously competent at quilting. And at that stage, she's just quilting and she's not even thinking about what she's doing. She's just like so damn good at it. She just doesn't even think about it. This stage here, when you're consciously working on it, you're having to think about what it is you're doing. But at this stage, you don't even have to think about it. You're just doing it. We're trading while we're, talking with you. We're just not even thinking about it. It's a beautiful, but those are the steps to learning anything. So like one of the things was I always thought it would be really neat to go fly fishing. I was unconsciously incompetent at it. I had no idea how to do it, what I needed. I just didn't know. So I went to the Bass Pro Shop and I went to the fly shop and I said, "Hey, I'd like to learn. I'm interested in fly fishing." So, okay, I'll teach you. And so he started taking me around the room, and I was a little skeptical. He says, "Well, you're going to need a rod, and you're going to need a reel." Like, okay. And you're going to need this special line. It's like $45. Like, why do I need that line? I have line at home. No, you need line that floats on the water. And then you need this other stuff, tippet. Oh, okay. I did not know that. Now I'm thinking that I'm really getting skeptical. And I think the guy's like loading me up. It wasn't that expensive to get started. I'm like, is this guy selling me the Brooklyn Bridge here? And so then he says to me, "You're going to need a vest." I'm like, "Why do I need a vest?" And he goes, "Well, where are you going to put all your flies, all your time?" I got a tackle box. He goes, "Oh." He goes, "Let's think about that. Where are you going to go fishing?" I'm probably in a river. Oh, okay. He goes, "Are you going to, wade around?" I'm like, "Yep." He goes, "You're going to carry the tackle box?" Hmm. When you're fishing, you're going to set the tackle box on a rock, on a slippery rock? Hmm. Probably not. I think I need a vest. Okay. How about a vest? I didn't know what I didn't know. So he was making me aware. Now I'm incompetent, so I got all the gear, but I was still incompetent, but I got all the gear. And then I'm like, now what? And he goes, "Well, now you got to come back on a Saturday and we'll go behind Bass Pro Shop here. We got some grass out there. And I'm going to teach you how to throw this thing." And I started to become consciously competent. But even then, I went out for a couple of years, go on these trips with Susan and trying to catch trout. And I still wasn't catching anything. Um, I needed to talk to other people that were doing it and get a mentor. And I'm probably still in the stage of consciously competent because I probably don't devote enough time to it. But I have friends that, they're unconsciously competent. They just can go out and catch fish no matter whatever they're doing. But this is the process that you got to go through to learn anything. The problem we have today is I'm not going to say that it's just young people, but I think it is an affliction of the younger generation. They already know everything. So there is no step. They already know everything. And they think they can just go to Google, and if they don't, so they don't go to their parents, they don't go to their aunts and uncles, they don't go to their older cousins. They just go to the internet. That's kind of scary. And they don't read, so that's a problem. But if you can get here consciously incompetent, you become aware. But now this is a very tricky step because, boy, and we have had folks say this to us, which is okay. It's like, I understand I got to go through this Q school with you for 3 weeks. I don't have that much time. Okay, no problem. You don't have that time. That's okay. Just, it takes time. It takes time to learn what we're doing and how to do it. In fact, it should be, our members are the first ones to say it. Don, it really should be longer than 3 weeks, but we can't do it indefinitely. It actually takes a lifetime. And I had one person say that. It's like, I can't believe how much I've learned. I mean, this is going to take, he said this to me. He said, this is going to take a year. I'm like, no, it's actually going to take you a lifetime. Golf is the same way. Anything worthwhile is going to take you time, right? And fly fishing, same thing, trading. But this is a tricky step from here to here, and most people just want to they want to give you their opinion of the market. They want to give you their opinion of the Federal Reserve, and they're unconsciously incompetent. Just don't even listen to it. They have no idea what they're talking about. And that might be Bitcoin. I see aspects of that in the Bitcoin community. I'm sorry, I do. Consciously incompetent, they just don't want to work at becoming, consciously competent. It takes a lot of time, but we're going to work during the Q school to take you. And we have some folks that come in and say, hey, I don't know anything about anything, Don. I just want to know what you know. And they've been great students and they've done really, really well. And we take them, and our goal is to get you here, consciously competent. But you're going to have to think about it a little bit more than what we do and in your trading. The last step, getting to unconsciously incompetent, that's going to be up to you. And that's where it's going to take months, years maybe, or a lifetime, but that's what you want to work to it. But you can be a very, very good trader right here. You can be a very, very good golfer, a very, very good fly fisherman, a very, very good quilter, whatever it is. But if you're just passing through, and it's, I just want to go buy the fishing gear and go fishing. I just want to buy the golf gear and go play golf. I just want to buy the quilting stuff and just go quilt. I don't want to work at it. I don't have the time for this. Well, then, keep moving through, because you're going to waste your time and I don't want to waste mine. I won't take anybody on that has that aspect. When you become unconsciously competent at something, it's a beautiful state to be in, because you're not even thinking about what it is you're doing. Like brushing your teeth. You just brush your teeth. You don't think about it. How about when you first drove a car, right? You first got in a car. You didn't know what you didn't know, right? And then they started to teach you, and you had to, hands at 10 and 2, and you were consciously incompetent. And then you became consciously competent. And the first thing you did was, take the car down to Lynn Beach, Nahant Beach. Look at me, get the 8-track playing. I'm driving the car up and down the beach, all the girls. And I was consciously competent driving the car. Today, I'll go out later today and I'll have to drive to Lowe's. I do I even think about it? No. I don't even think about the route. I mean, do I think about how my hands are positioned on the wheel or anything? But, I'll get myself to Lowe's and back safely, hopefully, knock on wood, right? So trade prediction, I can't give you 3 weeks of knowledge, in a YouTube session, but I can encourage you, and we'll take this off, to visit our website. And in a nutshell, what we're doing is we're trading, buying and selling and buying, the money flow to extract cash flow. We're trading as a business. In trade prediction, if you had bought the S&P here at 435, you'd be up 3,600. Now, at that hour, you would have had to have about 18,000 in your account. At 9 o'clock, you only had to have about 1,800. Here, the NQ, this was at 8:55. If you waited until 9, you would have only had to have 1,950 in your account, and you're up $7,000. So you're not up 1.82%. That's the difference between the entry price and where we are. You're actually up about 300%. That's called timing. And I know you can't time the market, bop, 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 fine, fine, listen to that, pay some economic professor at Wharton, $50,000 a year to fill your head full of shit. I'm not going to do that, you know. The other thing is that I just equate to, I spent, I'm not from Wall Street. I'm not from Madison Avenue. Been doing this now a long time. We're rather self-taught, but we read a lot. We did a lot, paid for a lot of different things, a lot good, some bad. But we always learned. Um, we'll just keep looking here. Here's the Dow at 425, 1,800. The Russell 955, 1,300. Lost my train of thought again. I'm having more and more Biden moments, it seems. We've said some of this so many times, but I'm not out to change anyone's belief systems. I'm not. I'm not. Um, you can believe what you want to believe, and you can do what you want to do, and we wish you the best at it. But if you're looking to learn from somebody who's doing it day in and day out, and you want these tools on your desktop, then you for sure want to visit the site. Now I see the one headline being copper rally delayed. Goldman slashes the forecast by $5,000 for the base metal amid China woes. China is a huge consumer of copper. They also allow them to um, um, capitalize on copper. They can build huge stores of copper and borrow against it. Just looking to see if they've come up with any kind of headline. U.S. manufacturing ISM signals accelerating stagflation as PMI turns downright apocalyptic. This headline, so there may have been, we'll just go take a peek at some of these headlines. Did we ISM manufacturing? Let me take a look at this at, well, that's not so good. ISM, and giving a reading, came in, I think at 47.90, usually below 50, um, uh, indicates recession in times gone past. I mean, we think we're in recession now. When we come to the, we'll come to another one of our tools here. We can show you, and let's go to the yield curve as an example. We have other tools than just what's on here now, but we just keep these. This is the yield curve down below. This is writing is in the way a little bit, but it's negative. And it says negative dynamic yield curve, economy stalling. This first went negative back in November of 2022. And that is when the yields start falling or getting below the yield of the earlier timeframes. This is 90-day, 5-year, 10-year, 30. And we peg or monitor the yield curve between the 90-day and the 10-year. That's what we're interested in. Now, when the yield curve, what a misunderstanding about the yield curve, the thought is that as soon as it goes negative, the country goes into recession. That isn't how it's interpreted. Historically, it takes about 15 months to almost 2 years for it to play out. It's been negative right now on November 9th of this year, it'll be 2 years. We are in recession now. The media hasn't caught on to it because they got certain people they want to see get elected, but we are. And you will be hearing and reading about it right after the election. Rest assured, I don't care who gets elected. And by the time they really start, focusing on the recession, we very well may be coming out, and this yield curve will begin to go positive. That's why they want the Fed to drop these interest rates right here. It isn't 49%, it's 4.9. But he could drop them, 150 basis points to get it steep, but the market would panic if he did that. So he can't really do that. He's behind the curve. He is, but he's not going to be able to stop what's coming. No. But we don't trade. When we're trading intraday, we're just trading the money flow. If we're going to trade 2 to 3 weeks, 35 to 45 days, we're going to trade options. If we're going to invest, we're going to do it for years, and we are going to do a little fundamental analysis, which we cover in the Q School. Q School, you get a live Zoom feed. You get on-demand videos, and we want to spend ideally, if we can, 1 to 2 hours with you during the Q School each day, so we can give you a chance to digest what it is we're sharing with you, and then give you a chance to see it real time and to be able to ask questions. And we will kind of gravitate and go where you go, but we have a process that we want to go through for, it takes about 3 weeks, and to lay it all out. So at the end of the Q school, you're going to have a really good idea who we are, what we're about, what you're about, what your trading style might want to do. And you can have different hats. That's our dog in the background. And then you get to pick and choose. After the Q school, there really isn't much more. There's always more that one can do, but there isn't going to be anything, radically that you're not going to be familiar with. Options are all math, and they're almost always the best option traders, and we think we're pretty good option traders, are almost always counter trending, the best ones. We're trending here. This is a trending style of strategy. So we're up since Sunday night. If I was to close this, we would be up $5,700 for the week. Not a bad week for one market. We're going to let it run. Oh, I lost my train of thought of where I was going earlier. I was just sharing that, I'm not from Wall Street. I'm not from Madison Avenue. I spent 25 years of my life wearing a surgical mask before they were fashionable. And no, I'm not a surgeon, but I spent all my time with surgeons, teaching them the latest and most advanced surgical instrumentation of the day. Everything from electrosurgical equipment to all the laparoscopic stuff for open heart surgery, not open heart, but even closed heart surgery, thoracoscopic surgery, general surgery, cardiovascular, not ophthalmic so much, little bit, but not much. No neurosurgery, thank goodness. Seen cases of it, kind of freaked me out. Patients are awake, but a lot of colon stuff. And I guess my point is, I never had a biology class. Can you imagine? I never had a biology class. Not even in high school. I mean, I got a grade for it. When I told you the story, the biology teacher was a very nice guy, and he grabbed me and about 4 or 5 other guys and said, "Guys, you're not going to be doctors and nurses. You're not going to be, and I'm going to have you go to the junior high, get some wood, and you're going to build me some bookshelves. And you do a good job, and you leave the girls and the kids alone, from the Bunsen burners." We were all excited. I thought it was going to be a great class. The big high desk, remember that? It had the sink and shit on it. And he saw us lighting up. He knew who we were going to probably be a problem for him. And he did. He gave us a B. And he actually scheduled a trip for us. We were city kids. He scheduled a high school trip to Florida that we all had to save for. And that I also wound up setting my sights to get out of Boston and go to Florida. Courtesy of this teacher. He was a good teacher. But then I went to college. I didn't take any biology there. I was a poli-sci major, and I kind of a pre-law type focus. But I did an internship, and I was disillusioned with that too. I was disillusioned. I was thinking I was going to go to law school back when law school was law school, and that's probably was a good thing I didn't. But I did an internship in DC, and I was like, man, this sucks. This is boring as hell. I was bored to tears. I'm like, oh man, what am I going to do, Susie? I always thought that I wanted to go to law school. I can't. After I did the internship, I was like, shit, I don't want to do this. It was really, really boring, and it was even political. But they were real political, obviously. And so I just applied. Won't give you the whole career, but the medical companies made an investment and they taught us, but they were paying the bill. Okay. They were, um, and so they worked us really, really hard. You know, we basically went through like a med school, and it was no nonsense. I mean, you had to maintain a specific grade, and if you didn't, they'd send you home, and it was pressure packed. But they got their pound of flesh out of us, and that stuff that I taught, or they taught us. I mean, I could never forget. So, but whatever it is you're doing, and you have your own careers, we have pilots and salespeople and CEOs and CFOs and software engineers. Um, it's all the same. You had to learn whatever it was you were doing. This idea that you can just go to a brokerage and just fund it and just start buying and selling, selling and buying, and automatically start making money um, isn't probably going to be the case. And they let people do it. Probably shouldn't, but they do because it takes a lot of time and effort. And you know, I scan the internet. I see what you see. I don't see anyone doing what we're doing. I don't. I don't certainly don't see anyone prepared to commit the time that we will commit. I don't see it, and it's the only way that I would want to do it. If you want to spend 15,000, I think you can go out with one of the Nigerians. They seem like great guys, and you can have a wine and cheese party out at Napa Valley, and probably listen to a speaker or two, and say that you met them, and spend 15,000 doing that. We don't do that. We're going to teach you how we go about trading the markets to extract cash flow, with not a whole lot of nonsense in between. Got any questions, let us know. If you want us to plug in, maybe you've traded a stock, maybe you've traded an option, and you want us to plug it into Radar, into Swing Machine on a daily or on an hourly interval, I'm happy to do that. I see something come across from one of you may have the same thing. I won't say who they are, but inside the mind of a trader. Pff, I don't know what that is. The best thing is not to think about it at all. I listen to music. I like to read. Have a treadmill. I'm not. If you want to talk economics, you want to talk something else, I'm happy to do it. I think a little less thinking. Can you look at yeah, what is that symbol? Is that Walmart maybe? Let me see. Let me see if I can correct this here. Top chat. I gotta oh, WESNINTU. Sure. So let's plug in. Darian's asking us for us to plug in WES. I'm not familiar with it. Probably should be. So we're going to plug this in. What is this? Western Midstream Partners. Let's put it on a daily. Swing Machine is short 21 days ago. Now it only reflects 17 cents. It's one share. We can put this into, $10,000 or the number of shares, but we'll just look at it one share. So it's short. So I wouldn't buy it on a daily basis. I wouldn't. I would wait. It's in the middle, headed down. But let's look at it on a weekly basis. On a weekly basis, it's long, and 65 weeks ago, it's delivered 39%. On a monthly basis, you're an investor. It's long, 31 months. So how would I read that? I would say weekly, it's bullish. It's a bullish position. On a daily, I wouldn't buy it here. I would wait. I wouldn't short it. I'd let it come back. And then when the daily goes long or on a half day or an hourly goes long, I would buy it. Let's go look at Intuit. We'll go backwards. We'll go INTU. On a monthly basis, Intuit, well, that's crazy. Split adjusted, it went long 183 months ago, and you wouldn't, that's one share. You'd be up 2,000%. On a weekly basis, 76 weeks ago, it went long at 445 and you'd be up 42%. On a daily basis, I think the stock has been hit. It went short 4 days ago. And it's underwater, even though on that short, it's bounced a little bit. So the weekly is bullish. The daily is pulling back. Well, what would I do if I was an investor in that? If I was a weekly investor, maybe, when she pushed up into euphoria rather recently, I maybe would have sold some covered calls against it. Maybe would have sold a little bit to raise some cash levels. Aggressive traders, could be looking to short it. You're not going to make as much money shorting stock as you are going to be buying stock, unless we move into a full-fledged bear market, which we haven't had since '08, and that only lasted for a few months. So I know this may sound like heresy. I think most retail traders or investors probably shouldn't get caught up with shorting individual stocks. They don't have the discipline and they don't, it isn't a fair fight that way. Yet we will, buy and sell and fade or short, futures, all the time. But for individual stocks, you gotta really know. And we can certainly even put this on an hourly. Let's go look at on an hourly, get inside it. On an hourly, she's trying to bounce, get a little long on the hour. Okay, so we're approaching the bottom of the hour. In a moment or two, we're going to have to bring the YouTube session down, but you're more than welcome to visit the website. You mentioned the best option traders are mathematically based. What books do you recommend for option derivatives and modeling? God, there's a ton. There's just a ton. What we're doing with options is, so thank you for the question. There's just a ton, and there's a ton of really good information on options, online. We just keep it really, really basic, and we just have really good tools for trading them mathematically. With options different than futures. I got to put this back to, by the way, to a 5-minute interval. We could trade it on a, oops, I messed up. Let me put this back. 3-minute, and I'll answer your question. Options, you have to get the direction right. You've got to get the timing right, and you've got to get the implied volatility right. With futures, all of that matters, but we don't have, time decay. We don't have, the implied volatility issues that you have with options. And so, for instance, like this tool here, this is our options club selector, and we use this in a big way. And this is scanning 500 stocks. So this tells us right here, these are the stocks right here, NOV, HAL, that are showing up on the long side. And this is mathematical, and they're all defined risk options for the next 35 to 45 days. So it's telling us, on this one, you might want to buy a call. On this one, you might want to buy or sell a put credit spread. This one you might want to call. This one you might want to buy a call debit spread. So they're all longs, right? They're all defined risk. Call, a credit spread, a debit spread. But how and why you would configure this is math. So rather than calculating the math by hand day in and day out, we just write it into the program and the program tells us. Now you don't have to buy a call. You could, sell a put credit spread here. And we do like to do put credit spreads versus debit spreads, but we will occasionally buy a call. And this has to do with the mathematical formulas of options. And options are a mathematical formula, so it only makes sense that it should be mathematical. So we would come here first and trade them either purely from here, but come here first and then look at a chart. We don't go to the chart first and then come here, or look at a chart and buy and sell options based on a chart. And we don't buy and sell options based on anything in the news. We don't. We don't. And that might be an anathema. Over on this side are going to be the shorts, and you can see we had them last night, and these are already down. He was telling us last night, or on Monday's close, Friday's close, to buy a put, and they've already some of these have already pulled back. But these are a list of a put debit spread, buy a put, sell a call credit spread, and our favorite is to sell call credit spreads. Now, exactly how you structure them and where is something also that we cover in the Q school, but you have some flexibility there. And then if you like to do iron condors, it'll also give you a list of the iron condors, the best stocks. They show up on both sides of the ball because an iron condor strategy is neither bullish nor bearish. But it's all math. So we look at it first here, and then we look at a chart if you want to. You don't have to. And then we can come here. This is also for options. You can plug in any time frame, but we can tell what is the expected move for like a 5-day or even a 1-day. So based on the options pricing, these are the stocks that are going to make the biggest percentage move tomorrow. Now it could be up or could be down. It's not directional, but it'll tell us how much the move is going to be. Or we can come up here and you can override this, and we like to take it out to 45 days. So we build in the time so we can quickly see. But if we wanted to see like over 15 days of the S&P 500, what stocks are going to make the biggest percentage move over the next 15 days? And it's these stocks right here. Doesn't give us direction, but it tells us what the options is doing. Can the machine locate leap options? You could, but I don't. We don't have that programmed in. So maybe it would be something, but we don't. Our options, the options that we're doing, we're active traders. We're not as active as some other option traders are, right? So we're not, but we're 35 to 45 days. So we wouldn't be doing any leaps. Not saying you shouldn't. Yeah, so here's the S&P on a futures contract, and this is on a Renko style chart, and we're starting to break this area here. We think that this whole pattern here is a huge Gartley, very, very bearish. As long as we don't get above that on a closing basis, that 5,700 area, we think this is going to be very, very bearish. But we're not trading. I mean, even this tool here is got you know, a trading program on it. We're not trading it at the moment, but it is running it in the background. But it's not going into our account here on this screen. But the 4:35 tea time, you know, is still short. 8:55. Oops. Let me put that back up. That makes sense. She's accelerating, so we'll go up until it's 12. Hey, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. We do like options. We do. Yep, you're welcome. We'll probably let it go where it's at 12:30. We'll probably let it go to about 10 minutes of 1 or so. So we'll let you see if this accelerates. If the market does turn around later today, we'll see it here and be able to react and certainly trade. But it doesn't look it to me. It's not normally that it would do something like this. So this could really, really accelerate. And we notice the VIX is creeping up. Now the trading here that's taken place, again, your brokerages may not allow you to do this. TradeStation, it does. We can, they can put the trades in and out. So it's actually trading the 5-minute NQ in the direction of the 30-minute NQ, and it's got some other parameters to it. So it's pretty sophisticated, and but I'm not grinding on a chart, trying to read the 2 moving average over this and trying to match this and read candles and all that. We'll let the machine do that, right? Now, and we haven't been doing this for just like 3 months or 6 months or 6 years. We've been doing this. We actually asked, we made a video of it. I saw that Twitter had their thing, the AI called Grok. And so I asked that, I said, who is Stock Market Caddy? And it typed up this whole thing, and it was pretty darn good. It was pretty good. It knew when we started, and it had all this other stuff, and it was pretty good about who we are. So we've been doing this a while. Stock Market Caddy didn't come out of the ground until about 2012, 2011. Susan and I had been doing this since the early 2000s, 2001, 2002. And then we started Stock Market Caddy then, and it was just, quite frankly, I was bored. The way that we trade, it's pretty lonely and it's pretty boring. And I'm wondering if there are other people out there that want to do what we're doing. We do speak of it being robot assisted trading. So I'm not trying to give anyone the impression that this is a holy grail. Certainly has the appearance of it many times, even to us. And that it's just going to automatically vacuum up money. Sometimes it does, but you need to have good acquired trading skill. So it's robot assisted. When we borrow that phrase, I borrow it from Intuitive Surgical. I had the chance to sit. Intuitive Surgical has the surgical robot that you see advertised in your communities, robot surgery. Well, it isn't R2D2 doing the surgery. It's a surgical device worth millions of dollars, and you sit in it like a cockpit. And I've sat in it, and I have operated it. Not on a patient, though. I'm not a surgeon. You need to be a surgeon to operate that. You have to be specially trained, and it's really, really good. It really is. Not for all surgery. It could be a little overkill, maybe for a tonsillectomy, but for other procedures, it can be very, very good. and they use the word robot assisted surgery. You don't see that on the billboard. You see robot surgery because the hospitals, that's what they put up. They want to capture, the folks, the imagination. I want to go to that hospital that has the robot. But it's not used on everything. And we could, right? We could override. We could turn the robot off right here. I'm not going to. It's been on the whole time, right? It's been on since Sunday at 6. I could turn it off and set a break-even stop and guarantee me, a $2,000 or $3,000 profit and just let the thing run for the next few days. If I think, there's going to be a more significant turn down. I do think this is going to accelerate though. We'll see. Don't trade that. Please don't, right? Because if the markets decide to go the other way, we're going to get indications off of swing machine. It takes us about 2 or 3 days to get you fully acclimated to swing machine and how one can trade it, because there's a lot going on over here too, right? Again, this isn't our only tool. But again, I think it's just nuts how few people trade futures, and how many people are so enamored with Bitcoin and all the interviews and all the hoi polloi parties down in Miami, and going to have Cosmos, and then we're going to have a crypto conference in Paris and in London. And I'm like, kids, you could have come in here at 9 o'clock, put down $1,950 and you got 7,000, a 300% return in 3 hours. I mean, can you imagine if Bitcoin, tripled in 3 hours? Now, if you want to trade the Bitcoin, oops, I'm sorry. Let's go get it here. Here's Ethereum too. So here's Ethereum on a daily basis. Bitcoin, we happen to have it down here. Bitcoin went short 23 days ago. This is a 5-pack Bitcoin. So if a person is hodling their Bitcoins and they shorted in the futures market, they could have saved them $27,000 in value. How about Ethereum? 29 days ago, it's up 22%, but it's lost 22% of its value in 29 days. Why would you do that? I don't know. I can rest assured that guy, you guys know in the crypto space that he's a bit of a nut bar, but he's got all his analogies about wooden ships and iron ships. I can't remember his name. MicroStrategy guy. He's got professional hedgers. That's what they're doing. They may be buying the Bitcoin, but they're hedging the hell out of it, guys. But let's put this on a 5-minute. Okay, so 37 5 minutes at 9:40 this morning. That's $4,000. Ethereum on a 5-minute, 38 5 minutes. Well, picked up 2%, 2,500. That's all today. So again, we want to extract cash flow from the money flow. And if you want to go take it and buy crypto, whatever, I would buy, if I was a young person, I would be buying, stocks that have been really, really trashed, and it may be beaten down, for the longer haul, and take your profits and put it into something or put it into something real, including real estate and real metals, maybe not up at the highs. if you are new to this, which is what most, most people, you got to be new. Everyone's got to start new. I understand that. I did that. We share with everybody the mistakes that we made. You can learn a lot from your mistakes, hopefully. We did. They're very painful. Like, Susan, that was very painful. I don't want to do that again. you know, Only to do it again because it comes in a different form or shape. Um, but you want to learn from your mistakes. But most people, the bar to admission is anybody who can fog a mirror, anyone who has capital can open up a brokerage account, and you can start buying and selling anything. And if you are making decisions on the money day in and day out, oh, I'm up 1,000. I'm going to make it now. So now my account, I'm up 3,000. Okay. All right. Tomorrow I got to make 1,000, or I gotta do it. And you're all focused, super focused on the money. You're trading greed and fear. That's what you're doing. May not appreciate it, but I'm telling you, you are, and they will get you. They will get you. Now, I've been chatting with you all morning, covered all kinds of different subjects. I'm not, I'm not, you may be focused on the money. I'm not. Mm-mm. Nope. We have a process, and some weeks it's going to be, it's going to be what it's going to be. We have a profit factor that we're after, and the market will give us what it'll give us. But I'm not making decisions purely on the money day in, day out. There are some instances where we may come in and fine tune it and say, okay, but or to say, hey, we're done for the day or done for the week. If you are in another part of the world, one of the questions you want to ask is to find out whether or not, if you have any desires to be an annual member of us, our programs will only work at TradeStation. And you want to find out, do you have access to TradeStation in the same version that we have here in the States? You want to find that out. And like I say, and a lot of the other brokerages, and I see these, conferences, about this and that. They're not even giving you, and I don't want to say on whom, but they're not even giving you the tools that you need. During the Q school, we're going to show you how mechanically, using the computer to do these things that these people speak of but don't tell you how to do it, and or their platforms are not empowered to do it, which is really a shame. you know they'll tell you what you should do, but why can't you program it? So if you have someone telling you, oh, what you got to do is, when the 2 moving average crosses the 8 moving average, and the stochastic is here and the MACD is here, and whatever is over here, and the RSI is doing this. Okay, well, we can write a program for that. If you can write us out the steps, we can write out a program. And if we can write a program, then we can go back over the last 3 weeks, 3 months, to see if any of that even holds water before you commit your time and capital to doing that. It's very empowering. It can save you a lot of time and money. By the way, we've taped and it's being recorded the last 13 hours of trading, and we will compress that 13 hours down to about 2 minutes. And you'll see if you sign up and make sure we have your email, we'll compress it down to 2 minutes, and you'll see it all compressed down in 2 minutes to maximize your time. Beautiful trading day.
get back. I'm alright, Jack. Keep your hands off of my stack. Money, it's a hit. Don't get me back to good bullshit. I'm in a high fidelity first class traveling section. I think I need a lift jet. It's a crime. Share it fairly, but don't take a slice of my pie. Money, so they say, is the root of all evil today. But if you ask for a rise, it's no surprise that they're giving none away. Away,
I was in the right. Yes, absolutely right.
I certainly was in the right.
Yes, definitely. I guess he was cruising for bruising.
I don't know, I was really drunk at the time. He just told me it was in pub into number 2. He was asking why he wasn't coming up on 3011. After I yelling and screaming and telling him why.
Okay, folks, we're going to need to wrap up. We'll just take one last peek here. 435, this position, we'll call that 4,000. You okay with that? 4,000, 7,000 since 955. What's that? 11,000. We'll call that 2, 13,000. Call that 2, 15,000. Want to drop down to oil? We quite a bit of money to be had, right? Really good fishing on the short side. Your job as a trader every day is come into the market just as you would get in your little canoe or your kayak and go out onto the lake or your cabin cruiser, however big your boat is, and go out and get the fish to the boat and get them on a stringer. Some days going to be great, right? But we can't fish, based on what yesterday was doing. What's going on right here, right now. And if you think, let me tell you something. If you think fly fishing is just get the gear and go traipsing around into the river and you're going to catch fish, it's as much of a hunt and a skill. It's very, and that's why I like fly fishing versus other fishing. Not to take anything away. I think you got to be a very good bass fisherman to catch those bass in those tournaments. But I'm sure you do. But fly fishing is very much a skill. Trading is a skill set, just like everything else. It is not a game. We make it fun. We want it to be fun. I didn't want to equate this to something, a war-like scenario, doing battle. It should be fun, but you got to get in and do it every day, at least every week, if you want to be, consistent and, extract the cash flow. It's a great way to go. Little to no overhead from trading. I don't have to have a storefront, and I don't have conference calls. Don't have a boss. Don't have a lot of paperwork. We have a little bit of paperwork. We want to track what we're doing and learning, and we have to write code and do that. You don't have to do that. As an annual member, during the course of the year, if there's something you're seeing, something you want, something you hear, and you can write out the steps, we'll do our best to code it. We don't charge you for that. And we'll even beta test it and tell you whether or not we think it's something even worth pursuing, because we're going to do it ourselves. We have some great tools that have come from members, Fibonacci based and all kinds of things. All right. It is pushing 1 o'clock. We're going to have to say goodbye. I'll wait a minute or two if there's any last minute questions. Otherwise, we wish you the best. Be careful here today. Markets like this, you don't usually turn around in the same day, just like when they're running up. They don't usually turn around and just go. We haven't seen one for a while, but you can have flash crashes. And what happens is they just turn off their machines. And during a flash crash, the numbers move so fast, you can't, on here on the radar, you can't even see them. It's just a blur green. They just, now I'm not saying we're going to have a flash crash, but pretty gnarly day if you're coming off of your Labor Day weekend and saying, oh shit, honey, what do we want to do here, right? And that's also what's beautiful about, we made a video of this over the weekend. Maybe you have a portfolio of $1 million or $2 million. What happens if there's an outlier event, a black swan event? I personally, I would want to have, even if I wasn't a trader, I'd want to have access to my futures account so that I could come in and I could put on 2, 3, 4, 5 contracts on the short side and hedge my long portfolio. You put on 5 futures contracts, it'd be like hedging, a $2 million portfolio. If the markets should crash 10% overnight, I'm not saying they're going to, I'm not saying that at all, but you could be left trying to get onto your platform, trying to reach your broker when everyone else is, and you may not be able to do that in some instances. And so it's a wonderful tool to be familiar with futures and both from a trading standpoint, an investment standpoint, a hedging standpoint, to use. We want to be diversified in what we're capable of doing, not just diversified in what we own. In fact, we like to be really focused. When we're trading futures intraday like this, it would be comparable in our view to be spear fishing. Boom, get them on. And when we're trading our options, we kind of think of that like crab. It's still fishing, it's still trading, but it's kind of like taking a big crab pot, throwing it over the side of the boat and letting it soak. But we're very specific. And when we, you just don't, throw the crab pot any place. So you got to, know where you are. And investing, we may not use any leverage at all, and take a more nuanced and in even a fundamental approach. I will consider fundamentals if I was going to get involved in an investment of crypto or an investment of some individual company. I'm gonna be both technical and fundamental on something that's going to go out years for sure, which we cover also in Q. All right, no other questions. I'm going to say thank you, wait a minute or two, and then we're going to have to say goodbye. Good luck. We'll try to come back later in the week and let you know where we are. We could stop trading right here, right now, and we would be up for the week $6,000. Very nice. One mini, one market.